This is the Rockcastle Gun Show on ESPN 102.7 FM, AM 1450, AM 1230, and streaming live on ESPNKY.com. Your weekly double-barrel dose of the biggest names, best products, and most intriguing topics in the world of firearms. Brought to you by Hilux Optics, Swagger by Pods, Shoot with Confidence, J&K Used Cars on the Bypass, and Mohawk Outdoors. In pursuit of liberty, justice, and all things guns. Here are your hosts, Nick and Nate Noble.
Basically a 3-gun scope, I guess. I mean, you can use it for hunting and stuff too. And then Taryn Butler. We're going to talk about all things Taryn. I mean, you know, John Wick and all that stuff. So
yeah, he's doing crazy stuff.
Show.
He's at the Trigicon. He's down at the Safari International Show in Dallas and representing Trigicon. But really cool stuff. And so anyway, you know, there's lots of things going on. This is a living legend show tonight on the Rockcastle Gun Show on ESPN Radio. And Nate, let's bring in our first guest.
Yeah, I mean, needs no introduction. If you follow shooting at all, he's the man, the myth, the legend, Jerry Micklick, the shooting family dynasty of the Micklick family. But we got Jerry. What's going on, my friend?
Oh, I'm just sitting here looking at some alligator skulls I had. I said.
Alligator skulls. I love it down there in southern Louisiana. I love it.
Man.
Yeah, I got some nice ones here.
and now, have you harvested all these, or are they fresh kills? What's going on? Are these old skulls?
Yeah, I shot these back in '08 with a Smith & Wesson 500 revolver, and I've been sitting in the freezer, and I finally had a chance to get them skull mounted, so I'm pretty happy.
That's pretty cool. That's cool. You love the outdoors. I mean, when you came up here, you know, floated down the Green River, we were talking about soft-shell turtles and down there in Louisiana. I mean, it's a sportsman's paradise, right? Like they say. But you've always been a lover of the outdoors, have you not?
Oh yeah, yep. It's a good place. The swamp swamp is my friend.
You know, a lot of people don't understand that too, but I've spent some time in Louisiana, and it's amazing how guys like you and the people that live down there enjoy that swamp so much. Most people are scared to death of it because there's gators and snakes and whatever, but very cool. And how's things going for 2020? What are you doing every day? You shooting? You shooting for fun? You shooting for training? You shooting for TV? I see all kinds of videos and commercials coming out. What's going on with you?
Well, I'm actually training. I've started my training regimen back. So last, 3 or 4 days, I've shot a couple of hundred rounds of shotgun and getting back with the rifle and pistol. So shooting season's coming, and I've been sitting around playing, and now it's time to go back to work. So Here I am.
And it's show season coming up too. I mean, obviously you'll be at SHOT Show here in 2 weeks, and do any of your companies get you go to any of the other shows where people can find you?
Well, the NRA convention.
Yeah, definitely NRA.
Yep. So that's the two main public trade shows that I work, or conventions, I guess you'd call them. Yep.
Yeah, and Jerry, you're on such big demand at SHOT Show and at the NRA show and everything else, and you're on point. You have to be the whole time. I want to know what you do on your downtime when you're saying you're starting your training back up down there in southern Louisiana. What do you do for fun? I mean, when you're not on a TV show and when you're not signing autographs at other shows and you're not being one of the best competitive shooters that's ever lived in shooting competitions, what do you do for fun?
Well, we do a little bit of hunting when we get a chance. This year we made a couple of nice hunts. I just came back from one last weekend. Helped a guy cull some does off of his property. Had a lot of black bear on his property, which was the first time I had a chance to see bears in Louisiana. It's kind of neat.
Yeah, that's cool. Are the bears in Louisiana, are they big bears or are they small bears?
They were pretty good sized black bears. Matter of fact, I was surprised there was that many of them on that one location. But
I've always been intrigued by the black bear because, you know, growing up in Colorado where Nick and I did and where the Barnes sisters live and everything there in Durango, we always had bears. And the craziest thing to me is some of the biggest black bears in the country come out of swampland. like South Carolina of all places. I have friends that have 4 or 500-pound black bears on one trail cam picture down in South Carolina, and you just don't think of the swamp bear being a big bear. But I guess they got plenty to eat down in the swamp.
Yeah, well, that's the first time in Louisiana I've seen a bear. So most places where I hunted was so much swamp there was flooded timber, and just really no place for a bear to make a living. So this North Louisiana is a little bit different. They have a lot of dry ground for them, and they were reintroduced, I think, in the 70s here. So they've come back. They made a really good comeback.
Well, that's really, really cool. Now, the big talk in the 3-gun world in particular, competitive shooting, is this new Mossberg, and obviously you've shot for Mossberg for many years, and this new 940 JM Pro is the talk of the town, and everybody's at SHOT Show in Vegas when we're there next couple weeks is going to be really talking about it. Tell us a little bit about this gun, and how is it different than maybe something else that Mossberg's put out, and how much influence did you have on it, Jerry, you and Lena and Kay and everybody else? Just tell us a little bit about this gun, because, there's no other gun that is talked about than the JM and 3-gun in it, and I think it catches a really, really bad, it's caught, it catches some fun and people do memes and stuff about it, but you can make a JM run forever. And you are the arguably the best shooter of all time in competitive shooting in 3-gun. Tell us about this new gun and how it's different than maybe some of the others.
Well, the original 930 is a really solid design. Its biggest enemy was the way the gas system was engineered. It was actually too good, and it captured too much of the gas, and it caused malfunction problems after about 500-600 rounds. So through the years of my shooting it, and Lena also, she had a lot of input on how to modify the receiver for quad loading. And Mossberg came in. And one of the things that my wife Kay had done in the past was ladies' action shooting camps. And one of the problems with the ladies, of course, they're a little bit smaller, so the stock was always too long. And that's one of the things that Mossberg paid attention to, and they made it a lot shorter. It has spacers, and you can put cast left or right, and you can put drop in the stock. Comes with a shim kit, so you can alter the length of pull there. They redesigned the trigger group a little bit for speed loading. They modified the receiver, and especially the forearm in the front. They paid a lot of attention to make that as slim as possible. So when you do quad loading, it doesn't interfere. So right out of the box, Lena was burning it up with the quad load. So it was pretty much exactly the way you'd want to set up a gun from the factory, set up for competition. And they did a lot of changes on the gas system, and that's kind of evolved from, a 3-gun guy, they want to shoot a lot. They don't want to clean guns. They're kind of like me.
Yeah.
So they re-engineered the gas system totally. The piston is changed. The gas ring is changed. The pusher assembly, the spacer is changed. They paid a lot more attention to where the thing sights in with slugs because, we're 3-gun guys. So they kind of tailored the point of aim, point of impact with a slug to about 50 yards. They put a high-vis sight on it. They put comes with 3 extended chokes made by Briley. So they did everything to make it a better package for a guy that just wants to go buy a gun and shoot. You don't have to spend any time or money sending it to a gunsmith to have it altered for 3 guns. So it's just a good, and I think some of the concepts that we engineered into this, matter of fact, I had the engineers here at the house at the kitchen table with guns laid out, and we would go shoot and talk about them and come back and we'd discuss this and that. So they were very much interested in making this product exactly what we wanted as from a competition aspect.
And how much of that, was the Michalik influence? Did their engineers open their kimonos and let you come in and just kind of do what you wanted with it, or did they figure some of this stuff out on themselves? And how big of a play? I know that between you and Lena and Kay, you obviously had some great influence on this gun.
We had a lot of influence on what they did with it. I was really surprised that the engineering group opened the door for us to come in and was willing to accept new ideas or concepts, and it actually made it better than some of the concepts I had originally thought of. So, of course, that's their job to make things better, and they did a lot of changes that I think is going to add to the overall product. Going in between cleanings, I think it's 1,500 rounds now before you have to, if you have to at all, it's 1,500 rounds. So greatly extended maintenance cycles. And I was out shooting it today. I was getting some 11 and 12 splits with it. So I'm getting excited about maybe going for a world record, 10 shots and whatever. And
I love it.
We're laughing when you say world record, because how many world records do you actually own, Jerry? I mean, you're a living legend in the shooting community. You own a lot of world records. So this will be another good one.
Yeah, I think it'd be a fun one. I think I got 5 of them now, so I'd like to have a dozen. So
keep going, buddy. Keep going.
I'm trying.
Yeah. So, man, we really look forward to seeing this gun when we get to shot. Now you've been you represent some other companies. So your go-to handgun this year when you get on the range and doing your deal, what are you shooting?
I'm shooting a Smith & Wesson M&P a core 5-inch. It's what I've shot for the last I don't know how many years now, 5 years or so, in 3-gun.
And
it's cut out. It's cut for an optic out of the box, and it's been 100% reliable. That's one of the things I tell people. I don't even hardly think about working on my handgun. That's the same original magazines I started with when I received the gun. I don't know, 5-6 years ago. So, been pretty bulletproof to say the least.
Now you shoot open division for most of the 3-gun stuff. What kind of optics are you putting on that Smith & Wesson?
Well, it's got a Vortex Venom red dot on it.
And we got Vortex coming on next. Ruben Axelson's the next guest after you, because they just came out with a new scope. So the question is, are you moving to the 1 to 10 on yours, or do you use something different for open?
Well, I've been shooting the 1x6 with the JM reticle in it.
Yeah.
Since it came out. As a matter of fact, I got one of the prototype scopes from that, and that I've shot in competitions for, I don't know, 6 years now. So, but this new 1x10 I've been playing with. Matter of fact, I was shooting it today.
And how are you liking it? Because we can ambush Ruben when he gets on the radio next with us. But are you liking the 1 to 10? And it's a first focal plane scope, correct?
Yes, it is. Yep.
So what? So when was the 1 to 6 wasn't first focal plane, was it?
No, it was not.
So what's the change from a professional shooter standpoint like you? What's the difference between, because there is some adjustment in what you normally shoot when you go from non-first focal plane to first focal plane. What is that adjustment? What do people have to think about a little more when they change to the first focal plane?
Well, the one that they were going to release here, the 1x10, gives the shooter a lot more options for his the reticle and how you use it as a ranging reticle in it. It comes with a Milrad or an inch, or MOA pattern.
Right.
It has a lot more. It has a lot more intel. So if you were shooting a finer target at further distance, say 800 yards or something, it would be a big advantage. So I can see that platform being really good for the 30 caliber stuff and shooting out to 1,000 yards and stuff. It's a really nice all around. Even on one power with the reticle lit, you can shoot it. You can shoot like a red dot, both eyes open. So,
very cool. Well, we're going to learn all about that when Ruben comes on. But it's very cool that you were testing it on the range today.
Very excellent product. It's going to be a winner.
It's hard not to recommend Vortex products when people ask. I actually, Nick and I deal with all the optics companies, and we're not sponsored by any one of them, but it's hard not to recommend Vortex sometimes because of their warranties and the way they take care of people. I mean, you can literally run over the optic with your truck and call them and tell them I ran over it with my truck and it's broken, and they'll send you a new one. They're very cool about taking care of their people, and I like the way they distribute. They're very stingy about who they give their dealerships to, and you just can't be anybody and be a Vortex dealer, and they've always taken care of people. So it's a very cool company to represent.
One of the things that really caught my eye the first time I was there years and years ago, and even this past year when I was at their manufacturing facility, was how willing and happy their actual people there who work. A lot of them bring their animals in, their dogs in the office. You might see 3 or 4 dogs walking around, and people just relaxed and working and having fun and smiling. It's really if I had to choose a place to go to work,
that'd be right up there.
That'd be it, right?
It'd be pretty good. So
if you couldn't work in the swamp, we'll go to Vortex.
Yeah, I'd be happy. So it's a really nice setup, and they always put the customer first, and it shows in their sales, and so the rest is history, so they say.
Our guest is Jerry Michalik, a living legend. One of the most prized and world champion, national champion, you name it, competitive shooter in the world, and literally just on TV all the time doing everything else. We've talked about your shotgun. We've talked about your pistol. We've talked about your optics on your rifle. Let's talk about your rifle before we have to let you go, and we're going to have to do that in just a couple of minutes. Yep. But tell us a little bit about your rifle that you're running in 3 guns so everybody knows exactly how you're kitted up.
Well, excuse me, I have a Smith & Wesson Performance Center, M&P 15, and it's pretty much what they sell. I shot it at the World Match in Sweden this past year, and excuse me, when I was on a sight-in range, matter of fact, and I was in Sweden, after you travel that distance, you always want to check your equipment. So they had a 200-meter range set up, and everything structured in time. So I shot a 3-shot group at 200, and the group went down and checked the targets. And I actually had a group of 3/4 of an inch for 3 shots at 200 meters. So I said, well, that might have been a fluke. So we came back and we ran another 3-shot sight in, and it was still under an inch. So the gun and ammunition, I was shooting Hornady 55 VMAX there, and it's been spotless. So that's what you're going to see me with on the ranges this year, is just a Performance Center gun and Vortex optics. I have a 1x6 and a side-mounted red dot on it. So
very cool.
Ready to play.
And a friend of mine just bought a Smith & Wesson M&P at a very good deal at one of our local gun dealers. I think Smith & Wesson's got some guns going on sale right now on the M&P. Mm-hmm. So go check that out. Jerry, you are the man. We love having you on the show. We love having you at Rockcastle Shooting Center. We look forward to seeing you up there again. We look forward to seeing you at SHOT Show. The Noble Brothers will run into you somewhere, you and the fam.
Yes, sir. Sounds good.
We appreciate you so much, man. Talk to you later.
You're welcome. Thank you.
You're listening to Rockcastle Gun Show with Nick and Nate Noble on ESPN Radio 102.7, and we'll be right back after these messages.
Although hunting to most of us is much more than just harvesting animals, why not better your deer herd's health with Big & J Long Range Attractant? Big & J is highly digestible, high in protein, and isn't full of preservatives. With Big & J Long Range Attractants, you're not only exploiting one of the few weaknesses whitetails have, their stomachs, but you're maximizing antler growth, improving overall herd health, and pulling deer from your neighbor's property. So whether your goals are to fill the freezer, kill mature bucks, or both, Big & J Long Range Attractants will stack the odds in your favor, all the while making your deer herd bigger and healthier.
Culver's wouldn't be what it is today without the family farms that grow and produce the wholesome, delicious food we so proudly serve. From the cattle ranches of the Great Plains to the dairy farms of Wisconsin and south to Georgia's chicken country, it's important to us to make sure farm families across the nation clearly see how Culver's remains committed to sourcing the finest ingredients America's growers have to offer and how thankful we are for their hard work and dedication. Culver's, Scottsville Road in front of Greenwood High. Welcome to Delicious.
As the days are getting cooler, let Furniture Merchandise Outlet help make your home warm and cozy. They have a great selection of quality couches in a variety of colors and styles. And with their prices lower than the competition, you can even afford to buy that new dining room table or bedroom set you've always wanted. Interest-free financing and layaway available. FMO, located on Gary Farm Boulevard next to Meyer.
Hey, Sean, what's up with the hole?
It's for my wife.
What? I mean, my wife wants me to plant some trees.
You know you're breaking the law.
How's that?
You didn't contact 811 before digging because I don't see any flags marking the underground utility lines.
Isn't that costly?
It will be if you cut or hit a utility line. The service is free, Sean, so I suggest you call 811 or go online to 811now.com before you dig yourself into a hole.
Hey, this is Tommy Thacker, and you're listening to the Rockcastle Gun Show on ESPN.
Yeah, welcome back to the Rockcastle Gun Show on ESPN Radio. Hopefully you're streaming us live at ESPNKY.com or ESPNRadio1027.com. You can stream us live every Wednesday night, 6, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, unless we get interrupted by a basketball game or something else. It's a baseball game or something. It's the part of being on ESPN Radio and the only gun show on ESPN Radio. But then we also download this show to a podcast. And you can go look at it. We've been doing it for a couple years now. We got a lot of podcasts. The biggest names, the best products, and the most interesting topics in the world of firearms, as evidenced by the number one shooter in the world ever, which was just on the show with us. And our next
Jerry
guest
Mitchell
doesn't understand that one of his shooters was just on the radio
bragging
with
about
us,
Vortex.
bragging about Vortex. And Ruben Alexson from Vortex. What's going on, man?
Hey, how's it going?
Dude, we're doing good. You know, we've been, it's wintertime. The range is kind of slow. We're doing some remodeling, getting our gear together. Hopefully within the next week or so, we'll be able to make some major announcements about Rockcastle coming back to life. A lot of rumor going around, but we're excited for 2020. We just had Jerry Micklick on the radio with us talking about the stuff that we're going to talk about with you. So don't lie, because Jerry was just on here talking about it. What's going on?
Bragging about it,
and bragging about it. So you're good. What's going on?
Jerry's a legend, man.
Dude, is there any other legend? I mean, there are legends out there, but Jerry's just salted the earth, man. You know what's funny about Jerry is, and you know, Ruben, when he's at your place and he's shooting or something, he's in a competition, you see people like afraid to talk to him. Like he's the man, the myth, the legend, Jerry, right? And you see people like not engage him. But when you engage him in conversation, he loves to talk. And he's a great guy. And he'll talk about things that you wouldn't even think, like soft shell turtles and that stuff. But it's cool. And we're just glad to have him on and glad to have you guys on. We brought Jerry on to talk about the new Mossberg 940 JM Pro Series shotgun because I've been monitoring social media, and the two biggest things in the last week, and I know you've been on some of the things I've been watching, is the JM 940 Pro Series shotgun from Mossberg and the new Vortex optic. And, you know, the three-gun world is excited about it and memeing about it and doing all kinds of things. And it's crazy. And I just want to get you on and talk about it. It's the talk of the town, talk of the sport. It's new, it's big, it's bold. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so you're talking about the Gen 3 1 to 10 by 24, low power variable optic.
Razor HD.
Yeah, absolutely. And it kind of comes on the heels of, the 1 to 6 Gen 2, which for a long time has been a really solid performer for us and our customers. And there's a few things about that optic that really make it hard to replace and hard to have a successor for. And some of those things are the optical quality, being color resolution and clarity. And but a couple of kind of tangibles would be really the daylight bright center dot and field of view, and then something we call the eye box, or the forgiveness when you're looking through the optic of, just a field of view, not winking at you, you're not shutting out when you move your head side to side or up and down behind the scope. So that's, they're big shoes to fill on coming up with a successor to that optic. And I think a lot of people kind of typically we're kind of wondering what's Vortex been doing over the last few years. It's been about 6 years or so since we came out with that Generation 2 Razor, and before that was the Generation 1, which was a 1 to 4. And I think we're always trying to provide the best product for our customer and trying to give the best value. And so that's something that when you see an optic like the 1 to 6 having great performance at a really good price, again, we just wanted to make sure that we did it right and do right by our customers. In Vortex land here, I mean, customer is king, and so just doing what people are asking for and trying to find a way to do it affordably and at a good price, especially keeping in mind all the features that you're getting. So the Gen 3, a lot of people kind of anticipated a 1-8, and we really felt that the best thing for us to do in the next step in that low-power variable optic category was to provide an optic that replaces a couple of optics. So you've got that 1-6 being, on one power, it's a lot like a red dot. It's fast, reflexive type shooting up close, and then having that magnification available. But being a second focal plane optic, you need to make sure that you're on max magnification for those reticle subtensions to hold true when you are looking to go out to longer range. So having a first focal plane system, I think, was one of the first boxes that we wanted to check. And then looking at different optical designs that we do and the way that we arrange our lens cells and the way that we select the glass that we use, we knew that if we did a 1-10, it would not only replace a red dot and a low power variable type of scope, but it would also start to get into the territory of replacing long range optics, especially with 10 power optics being a standard in the marksman sniper community for years and years and decades. We knew that if we could do a successful development of a 1-10 that maintained those same features of the 1-6 with the eye box forgiveness and the wide field of view, and also having the optical quality so that you can have the resolution when you dial that magnification up to 10, you would start to get into that designated marksman and or sniper slash that type of optic. And so I think people have kind of been looking for a couple of years, like what's going on up there in Wisconsin. And yesterday we're pretty excited to announce that we think that we've got it ready to go. And it's been a crazy ride, but it's been a lot of fun. And I think this one the customers are going to really like it.
Yeah, and so let's go back into some layman's terms, because there's a lot of people on here that aren't making memes about Vortex that don't really understand what we're actually talking about. So first couple things. We do loaner guns at Rockcastle for 3-gun events, especially things like Pro-Am, and I have some guns in the stable that we have 1-6s on, we have 1-8s on, and I can tell you, just in my personal experience on the range at the same time for a match like the Rockcastle Pro-Am or the Blue Ridge Mountain 3-Gun Championship that we host, or something like MGM Ironman where you're getting some longer distances on the rifle, the first thing I noticed was the 1-6 to 1-8 is light years of difference when you're on an optic on a 5.56 rifle at some of the longer distances. And some of the things I could see through a 1-8 or 1-6 versus each other, it's a huge jump. So I can understand where going from 1.8 mag to 110 mag is a big deal. The second part of what you've been talking about is going from second focal plane to first focal plane. And a lot of people don't understand what that means either. So in layman's terms, your basic things, and correct me if I'm wrong, but when you go to first focal plane, when you dial from 1 to 10, you are the size of the reticle and everything changes with your dial on a first focal plane scope. Correct?
Yeah. So the one of the easy ways to explain it is you've got to make a correction for the bullet drop, right? And so if we were looking through an optic, the first focal plane is going to put the reticle on the same plane as the image is zoomed. So when you look at a target on lower magnification, like 1, 2, 3 power, the target looks far away. When you look at it on higher magnification, 6, 7, 8, so on and so forth, the target appears to grow. Same with zoom on a camera or zoom on anything that has an optical system. A second focal plane optic is going to put that reticle in the second focal plane. There are different focal planes within an optic. Think of it as points of focus. And so if the best way to explain it is just if you were to take a reticle and put it in front of the zoom function of the scope, the reticle is going to be zoomed in on as you zoom in on the target. If it was a second focal plane optic, that reticle is not zooming because the reticle is between you and the object you're zooming in on.
Right, you're zooming in on the target, but the reticle almost disappears. It doesn't really change sizes. It just disappears almost as you close in on the second focal plane.
Yep, and so with those subtensions being, whether it be a grid or a standard, crosshair or something like that, a BDC reticle, as you zoom in on a second focal plane, those are all changing. And with a first focal plane, the size of those hash marks or the grid or the crosshair in relation to the target stays the same because you're zooming in at the same rate that you're zooming in on the target.
Right. And it makes for faster target acquisition, faster distance learning, faster, seeing where your drop is and things like that. On the first focal plane, those things become easier than they do on a second focal plane, correct?
Yep, and I think the reality is that, not everything in 3-gun relates to a real world, whether it be a duty application or a military application, but a lot of the principles of speed and accuracy are playing into what our professionals are trying to do out in the field. And so the faster we can do something and the more accurately we can do something without having to think about it necessarily, there's always going to be certain things you need to think about, but your brain only has so much computing power, and the more of that computing power that you take up by thinking of, okay, what magnification am I on? Do I need to hold 2 times my subtension value or only 1 time? If we don't have to worry about that and we can just put the appropriate hash mark or dot on the target and press the trigger, then we're able to think about the situation more, whether that be in a competition or a real-world setting.
And so the second part of what you were talking about, and I want people to understand this, especially because I've used Vortex optics, and it is amazing, the field of view or the view box, whatever you're calling it. It is very important. And when you look through an optic, and let's say the gauge of the frame of the optic where the glass is, your tube, is a 1/4 inch. Let's just use that for a round number. If you got a 1/4 inch of metal around your eye ring and you can look through the optic and that 1/4 inch of metal disappears and you're looking through optic, that's good. So the larger the larger the view box is and the less distorted your image is through the scope, you really want that ring, that metal ring that's around the outside of that lens, to disappear. So when you look through what you're talking about and in the view boxes, the scope not winking at you and stuff, it really changes how you look through an optic when the ring disappears and all you're seeing is the glass, or you're seeing a very thin line of metal around your side of view. It takes a lot of confusion off the shooter, and it's very cool. And you guys do it very well as a company.
Well, that's awesome to hear. Appreciate that. And one easy way to think of kind of what an eye box is if you imagine an ice cream cone that's cone shaped, not like a think of a waffle cone. It's pointed at one end and it's big at the other end. If we were to put 2 of those together, from putting the large end of the cone to the large end of the cone, and put one pointy end right at the eyepiece and then the other pointy end pointing backwards, there's a point where that sweet spot, which is where the 2 cones are meeting in the middle, is really big. And so if you can think about the angle that the light is coming out of the eyepiece, we can either make the eye relief a little bit shorter and the cone is wider, or we can make the eye relief a little bit longer and the cone is narrower. There's a real sweet spot where it comes into when what matters to the shooter versus what the specifications on the whether it be printed on the box or on the website say. And it really boils down to, I think, having shooters, and you mentioned Jerry Michulik before, and we've got a lot of really great shooters out in the field that are giving us input on what matters to the shooter and not just what does the specifications say.
Yeah, that's very cool. And it's Vortex, man. So you guys got some other stuff coming out, or is this like the big bang, or is it just the big bang for the? I'm sure it's just the big bang for the competitive shooting market. Real quick, let's talk about the 1 to 10 optic. the 3-gunners are talking about it, obviously, but this is an optic that's very well suited for the 30 caliber rifles too, right? And probably when you get into that, some of the hunting applications.
Yeah, I think there's really a lot of, I think back to kind of my growing up, what a really popular optic is and even today is a 3 to 9 by 40 or a 4 to 12 by 40, something like that. Having that 1 to 10 optical system gives you the option to, it gives you the ability to not have to choose necessarily. Do I want a lower power? Do I want a higher power? 10 power is plenty of magnification to do a lot of different types of shooting. So you don't, we always talk in terms of optical quality over optical quantity. And there's certain times where more magnification is better, just due to having to ID a target or doing, to wanting to, call impacts or call misses with the optic. But I think having 10 power is more than enough to hit a lot of targets. So there's definitely hunting applications for this optic. If anybody has checked out Vortex's page of the last couple of days, our teaser video for the optic was tactical, kind of tactical focused. So I think there's definitely a lot of options and different applications for this optic. I think, with how match directors like yourself set up 3-gun matches, I think it's going to be a great 3-gun optic. I think there's also a lot of other applications out there, especially when we talk about that kind of professional gunfighter, military law enforcement role.
Yeah, and like Jerry Micklick said, if you're shooting 1,000 and under, this is a good optic. Yeah, so,
absolutely.
For whatever rifle you're going to put it on, it's going to be a good optic because of the power and because of the things that are in it, first focal plane, all that. And the price is right. It's a Vortex optic, and you guys got the most killer warranty on the planet. So,
well, that's great to hear. I love hearing that. So appreciate that.
You're listening to the Rockcastle Gun Show on ESPN Radio. Our guest is Ruben Alexson from Vortex Optics. Thank you so much for being on with Nick and Nate Noble, your hosts of the Rockcastle Gun Show. Ruben, tell us how they can find out more about Vortex Optics.
Well, we're on all the social platforms. I know that we're on Facebook and Instagram, as well as some of the blogs and vlogs out there. We've got a YouTube channel, and then we've got vortexoptics.com. If anybody wants to call in and ask questions from one of our tech guys, you got 800-426-0048. Hit extension 5. That'll get you to one of the experts up in sales. But other than that, I think there's a lot of different ways to get a hold of us, but typically give us a call. We're one of those companies that believes in putting people on the phone too, so you're always going to get to talk to somebody.
Well, that's your reputation too. Just great customer service. Vortex Optics, Mr. Ruben Alexson, thank you so much for being on the Rockcastle Gun Show, and we will have you back on soon. We'll see you at SHOT Show, okay, buddy?
Thank you, guys. We'll see you in a couple weeks.
All right. You're listening to the Rockcastle Gun Show on ESPN Radio. Special shout-out to the jackhammer out there who's sitting here texting me like crazy, and we'll be right back after these messages.
New year, new ride at Luxury Imports of Bowling Green. Luxury Imports is Southern Kentucky's home for Mercedes-Benz new member of the G-Class, the GLB 250. Believe the hype for Mercedes' first third-row option crossover with 62 cubic feet of cargo space that pulls over 23 MBG City and controls everything from the radio to ambient lighting color with Mercedes Voice. The 2020 Mercedes-Benz GLB, now at Luxury Imports of Bowling Green. 325 Three Springs Road, luxuryimportsofbowlinggreen.com.
Remember when your mother used to say, "Don't let the bed bugs bite" when she tucked you in? Well, guess what? Bed bugs are real. They do feed at night, and they're on the rise throughout the United States. But with the right knowledge, you can minimize the serious health and property threats posed by common pests like bed bugs, termites, and rodents. To learn how, visit pestworld.org. This message brought to you by the National Pest Management Association.
As we prepare to ring in a new year, we hope some things stay the same, like the opportunity to serve good folks like you. This is Marvin Stratton with Monticello Bank. We would like to thank you for your loyal support and friendship this past year. We're proud that you've chosen to be our customer for another year, and we look forward to helping you make it even better than the last. From all of us at Monticello Bank, Happy New Year.
Monticello Bank, where people matter. Member FDIC.
I used to smoke about a pack to 2 packs a day. That really put a strain on my pocket. That's why I really needed to find something to help me out.
1-800-QUIT now.
I was like, this may work.
I hop in the car, I have a cigarette, wake up in the middle of the night with an asthma attack, hit my inhaler 2 times, come outside and have a cigarette. It was really bad.
Call 1-800-QUIT-NOW.
I've tried everything. I've tried the patches. I've tried quitting cold turkey. I've tried the gum. I just needed a person to talk to, somebody who can relate to me. She was just really supportive, and I was telling her what was going on. And she was telling me different things that I could do to help with my stress. I would recommend the Quit Line because the support, the counselors, awesome people.
They called just when they said they would. They really wanted to talk you through everything. They wanted to know how I was doing. I'm definitely not coughing as much. I feel healthier.
Call 1-800-QUIT-NOW, a public service of the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and this station.
If you own a gun, you have a full-time responsibility. When you aren't using it, be sure it can't get into the hands of curious children, troubled teenagers, a thief, or anyone else who might misuse it. Your family, friends, and neighbors are all counting on you. Remember, always, lock it up. For more information on firearms storage safety, visit ncpc.org. This message brought to you by the National Crime Prevention Council, the Bureau of Justice Assistance, and the Ad Council.
It's John Scouten from Shooting USA on Outdoor Channel, and you're listening to the Rockcastle Gun Show on ESPN Radio.
Welcome back to the Rockcastle Gun Show. It's your hosts, Nick and Nate Noble, here on ESPN Radio 102.7, the only gun show on ESPN Radio. Don't forget about our podcast. I don't know what we're in, but it's a bunch. About 3 years into this podcast, and you can download and listen to the biggest and the best names in the firearms industry, day in, day out, guns, gear, personalities, law enforcement, military, competitive shooting.
Stupid gun laws.
Stupid gun laws. We talk about it a little bit. But, Nate, tonight is a little bit about having some living legends on the show.
Yeah, and my first idea coming into the show was the craziness of social media right now on the Mossberg JM 940 Pro Series shotgun and the new Vortex optic. So we had to have those guys on because everybody's talking about them. So we just, squashed the memes and the rumors and let's get the info out. But then it kind of turned into legends because we had Jerry Michlik on, who is the myth, the man, the myth, the legend. I mean, there's not a better guy on the planet in the shooting business. He's the king, kind of like George Strait, right? Mm-hmm. But then Nick comes in and is like, we got to have Taryn Butler on. So I was like, yeah, because there's another legend in the shooting business.
And here he is, Mr. Taryn Butler. I think he's in Dallas, Texas, down at the Safari Club International Show, representing Trigicon and everything else. And another living legend right here, shooting icon, Mr. Taryn Butler. What's up, dude?
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Hey, my first question, have you been on a safari? Or you're just there?
No, I've never been on a safari. I'll probably get lost.
Dude, buy one while you're there. It's the Safari Club International Show. It's like the safari. If you want to go on one, that'd be the place to get one, right?
Yeah, definitely. But I'll probably get lost in the jungle, and that'll be the end of it. I got another living legend in my Uber right behind me. Julie Golub is in the car with me.
Is she awesome? She's been on the show many times. Tell her hello, and we love her and appreciate her very much.
She's laughing at me and says I'm stupid for doing a show in an Uber car.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that. Hey, you don't need to go on a safari because you do it right there on your range in L.A., and you have all these big, huge movie stars like Keanu Reeves and everybody else training for John Wick. I mean, you guys just crack me up with all the stuff you do there. How fun is that?
It's fun. I never really planned on it. It just kind of became a thing, and it's growing, and I think the whole thing got opened up when John Wick 2 video came out of Keanu going bonkers, shredding 3-gun, and no one's ever let 3-gun really be part of the Hollywood training, and I was lucky enough to be the guy to do that, and it showed the Hollywood world different than the usual, behind the scenes of some shooting a couple rounds at a paper target or just some really slow, kind of just stuff you've seen in the past. You're not impressive, and people is this not even Keanu? Is it a stunt man? What is that? And it really changed my life. It changed my company. It changed my career completely. Obviously, I'm not going to as many matches as I used to. I'd like to, but literally every time I'm trying to get ready, there's do you want to have the world's greatest race car driver come out tomorrow? I'm yeah, why not? Who's that? It was Lewis Hamilton. It's his birthday today, and just every fun little opportunity getting to have Joe Rogan out, which I listen to his show. I love the guy. To have him actually there and training with me, it's surreal. Actually, it's
school his ass on some better Second Amendment stuff because he's not very strong on it. Just saying.
Well, like here's the thing. Like you get, I post something and you get 2 or 3 guys going, "Hey, they better stand up for the 2A." Oh, what are they doing there? Get them out of there. It's like probably the biggest one ever was the Kardashians because whatever. But why not take the opportunity to show? Like, look, you couldn't get a bigger following. Each one of those girls is 100 million followers per girl.
Right.
And they came out. They were super nice. They loved it. They had a great time. And I got to show at least people in their world how to clear a gun if they're at a party or in a situation to know how to clear a gun and make it safe. If anything, I got that across. And to be yelled at for that, whatever. Give me a break. Like, what am I going to do? How would I look if I go, "Get the hell out of here"?
Yeah, that's not good.
Bastard!
No, you're doing more for the 2A by having those folks on and teaching them like what normal gun culture is all about. Hey, I want to talk to you about your range. I mean, there was a terrible fire.
They almost burned down your shed.
They almost burned down everything you had. I mean, how are you guys? How are you doing after post fire? I mean, I know it was on your range and you lost a lot of structures and everything else. What's happening since then?
Well, I mean, we lost, it was wild. Like, I got woken up at 6 in the morning by Nicolina. She lives there. She's my best friend. And like out of nowhere, it's like 5:45 in the morning. Get up right now. It's these crazy 60-mile-an-hour winds and crazy pyroclastic clouds blowing in. I had no idea a fire was coming. She literally saved my life, saved everything. And so I went into, I've been through like 7 fires now. So when a fire happens, I'm not lazy. I'm a freaking grandmaster of firefighting fullness. But ran down to the range, opened up all 3 massive safes, got all of Keanu's and the director's John Wick's guns, everybody's guns in my car, parked it in the open lot, took care of that first. And at the house, the fire department's right at my house, and they're like, "Evacuate now!" I'm like, "Holy shit, that's the worst thing you want to hear." I'm like, "No, I can't, because I'm going to lose the house. I'm going to lose we're like cat people, loons. I'll probably die in a cat lady someday, but Linda got like 6 cats out of the house, but 2, which one is my favorite, the Tanker Boy, and his sister, the Powder Poof, were still in there. So I'm not going to let them burn. So this ammo container, like my private ammo container, is right by the house. So what I don't understand is how does metal Connex boxes burn and all the wood stays? I don't even get it. So I'm back there and I go to check the house, and this giant flames come through, and I'm spraying the house with the hose. Save the house, thank God. I thought that I go on the back of the house where the wind is going the opposite direction, and this container is starting to light up. And I asked the fire department, like, "Can we get that?" No, we can't help you because it's got ammo. I'm like, damn it. So it starts blowing up, 80 billion bullets go blowing up. I got some video out there where James Cameron's like, "Wow, out of tragedy, Sharon. Like, you got a really cool action video." So send me an email. It's so funny. "We're over here at Avatar. We're praying for you, but that video was sick. That was cool. You need help building the range again?" Yeah, Cameron, build me a new range. Anyway, so this thing starts blowing up, 80 billion bullets. So now the house is burning. Literally, this is it. This is my house, my bedroom, the cats, all my money, everything, my guns. So I do these drive-bys with a fire extinguisher hitting this house while the fire department is just doing other stuff that wouldn't help me there, which I get it. Whatever, there's rules. I totally get it. This thing is blowing to crap, bullets hitting me in the back. One bullet actually went to the wall. That's the only one that didn't get me, thank God. The weak bullets didn't do nothing to me hardly. So I saved the house, and I run down to the range in the 40-foot container full of 80 billion tons of Black Hills and Fiocchi and all my friggin' coolest ammo ever, 308, 223. It's on fire, a little bit in the top. Like, what in the hell? So I run over there, try to put that out. That didn't go well. I thought it could be a hero chapter 2. So I run down this 40-foot container, get all smoke inhalationed out, walk out like I'm all staggering drunk. Fire department's like, "Dumb move, idiot." I'm like, "Yeah, no shit." So then there's no way to put it out. This stupid thing burned for 30 hours straight. Like, I got a Benelli out. I blew holes in the walls so I could get the hoses through. Blew the stupid limbs down that were on fire that are going to burn the main building. We see all my stupid videos. That was going to burn. So that I went crazy with Benelli to save the day with the madhouse. In the end, we lost a lot of containers, a big wooden structure, but the main stuff is good. The building with all the guns, the shop, the house, saved my sappy cats. And it was lunacy. One thing about fire, I've been through 7 of these things, is it's never over. Think of it as basically it's Michael Myers and stupid Freddy Krueger, and you might as well throw in Jason because they're not going to quit.
Yeah, they're going to stay with you.
Like Channel 4 News rolls in, "How's it going? You okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, it was brutal. It's all over." nothing is over. There's another giant, like, rubber fire by the house again. I go running. I'll talk to you later. Run over there. Like, the hose is tied around a tree. I'm all tied up in the weeds. Like, it's madness. It never ends. It took literally 2 days for this crap to stop burning. It was nuts.
Well, I will tell you, and you know this from just the outpouring of people from the industry and your fans and just everybody, that you were lots of prayers and lots of things. I mean, but it was scary to watch that. Just an iconic place like Terran Tactical just burned down, and it was just nuts.
Well, God protected me big time. Obviously, we lost a lot of stuff. I like all my Sterling mags from my 3-gun era, just in a pile, HK 30-round mags that make you a lot of stuff we lost. But it is what it is. We didn't lose any animals, didn't lose the main house. The shop is fine. All the customer guns are fine. And I have that stuff pretty much set up where there's so much cement around it, you really can't burn it unless you really try. But praise the Lord, we got super lucky, and a lot of good things come out of tragedy in my life. And, you know, good things are coming, and we're rebuilding better than before, and things are looking nicer. Plus, all the weeds are gone. Now it's all green. It looks like Ireland now.
It's not like dark brown. All right. Hey,
now I can see my 3-gun targets now. They're like buried under weeds.
There you go. Hey, one of the things you and I were texting about earlier tonight is that you've been shooting with the living legend Jerry Michalik, who was on our show first segment of this. You've been shooting with him for over 25 years, and you're also a living legend, whether you want to admit that or not, doing everything you can. How cool is it just growing up with Jerry Michalik, and what kind of influence was he on you?
A big influence. Like, I think one of the first times we ever talked was me and Chris Tilley was like 14. We're at Area 1, and we're all shooting together and kind of got to know each other at the match. And then obviously we went into 3-gun together, and it was kind of like I had this winning streak, so did he, for like 7 years. I would win TAC optics, he'd win open, unless Voight would get him, or then sometimes, like, that was right when I finally took down Benny Cooley and shut down his winning streak like a total dick. But then, of course, Horner took mine out, that bastard. But long story short, like, it was fun because we'd win together all the time. And he's really quiet. He didn't like to give a speech, you know, so they wait for my stupid speech, which is a bunch of nonsense and Stallone impersonations and Arnold and crap. But to be during that era, it was amazing. And one of the things he said to me, it changed my life. And in 2007, I was shooting Fort Benning when Fort Benning was just amazing. You win like a Rolex watch at $15,000, and these crazy stages are digging trenches for boats and all this amazing stuff. And I was just on fire that year, that seasons. And I was shooting TAC optics, and he was shooting open, and they had a rule change. And in the rule change, they said you can't have a shotgun that holds 9 rounds in the tube. In the previous years, it was okay. And so halfway through the match, I'm just killing it. Like, I couldn't have shot any better. Partway through, I go to shoot shotgun, and Kurt Miller's like, "Hey, just so you know, you're in open division." I'm like, "What?" It's actually an episode of Shooting USA. John Skelton's like, in this episode, Terran's shooting TAC optics, having a good match, but oh no, we just got put into open division. Holy crap! This is not going well. You got to beat Michael Voight, Jerry Michalik, Todd Jarrett, Chris Tilley while he's shooting 3-gun like a man bat out of hell. You're done. You're lucky to make top 10. Well, literally, I was so pissed, and I shot good pissed, that the shotgun stage that I was lit about, I ended up putting in, instead of 8+1, I put in my 9+1+1, and I shot the stage and won the stage. The only guy that could get me was some guy, I'm not sure, some guy with a big mag-fed 32-round shotgun. It's a 31-round stage. He misses the last plate. He runs empty. There's a 5-minute reload with a giant drum. Like, what a clown. So then it gets down to the last stage, and I don't have any idea what's going to end up happening. But it ends up on the last stage. I'm about ready to shoot. It's this thing where Tony Holmes got DQ'd because this crazy parachute thing caught his pistol and pulled it out. I'm like, oh my God, he was up first. He learned the hard way. I don't want to get DQ'd like that last stage. So I make sure my gun's over my junk like freaking Sharon Stone and Quick and the Dead, and I'm ready to shoot the stage. And then John Scott runs up. He's like, Darren. He's like, don't screw this up. You're going to win the whole match. I'm like, oh, my God, the pressure. Shut up. What the? Just tell me that for. So anyway, it did work. I get out of the thing, don't pull my gun out on the ground, and lift up some dummy, drag it around, shoot moving targets, bitch in stage, win this, come in like second on the stage to Voight, end up winning the whole match. And to have a legend like Jerry Michalik come up to me and he goes, you're an animal. You're a fucking animal. And that that changed my life. And that episode coming on TV, my girlfriend at the time, Kristen Finley, made a whole reel out of it in the good old days and took her to the SHOT Show, and everybody saw that. Like, wow, you won the whole match in TAC Optics in open division? Like, that's like a guy with a bicycle winning like a motocross race. And so that was awesome. And to have Jerry say that, someone that I respect and idolize, and he just got such an incredible career. Like, it never stops. He never ages, but he's always been like 50. It's just annoying. And
I know. He's ageless, isn't he?
He's like Gene Hackman. He was he started in Hollywood in 50 and he ends his career at 50. But it's a dumb analogy. But and then his daughter, who's become this insane shooter, like her, and it was really fun this year. I had this fun day. I invited Lena and Ashley Rourke down, two of the best female shooters that ever walked the earth, and I brought them out celebrities like Logic and Exhibit and the bad guy from John Wick 3, who played Zero, Mark DeCosco, and got these fun videos. They're just shredding the range, shredding the place. It was just super awesome, and it was fun because Lena goes, she's like, I am here. Out of all the places I want to go, I've dreamed of this moment. I'm going to do it. It made my range feel good to me, to have her with Jade out there, and Jade shot super great with them, and it was just a really, really fun, special time, to have them out there.
Absolutely.
So,
I love, by the way, I love Jade. Like I love Jade.
Yeah, I adore Jade. Jade is a superstar, and I love her. I wish she didn't shave her head, but it is what it is. Please let it grow back, Jade. Yeah. Anyway, but she's stunning no matter what she does. She can paint her head white; she would look stunning.
That's awesome, Taryn Butler. You are also a living legend. It's great to have you and Jerry Michalik and the Vortex crew on here. Now, I would like to say how they can find out more about Taryn Tactical right now. To find you.
You do amazing things with guns. We failed to mention that this whole time.
Yeah, exactly.
You do amazing things with guns.
Yeah,
so.
and tell us how we can find out more about that. And then I would like you to take us out in either Arnold Schwarzenegger or Stallone on the Rockcastle Gun Show.
Well, you can find me on Instagram, Taryn Tactical Innovations. Same on Facebook. I have a website. YouTube, just put in Taryn Tactical, Taryn Butler. I'm all over the place. It's all bullshit, all of it. You got to go to my website and find me there. I did go to Instagram and follow, and then like on some of the videos over there. Go on there. Go to Facebook too. No, Facebook is old news. It's all old people. No, it's not. It's still good. You can do better videos on there. Yeah, we have IGTV now. It doesn't matter. Yeah, whatever. Just go to both of them. Follow Taryn. Yeah, follow Jerry. Follow them all. Follow you guys. Make me a noble and all that stuff. So,
tell Julie Golub we said hello. Have fun on your Uber. God bless you. Thank you for being on the Rockcastle Gun Show, Taryn.
Thank you, guys. You're awesome. I miss you.
All right, I miss you too. We'll see you in a couple weeks in Vegas.
Okay. All right, bye.